We're gonna get into it today, guys. Give me a second. You guys enjoy the music. I'll be back in just a second. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What's going on? What's going on? You guys hit that like button for me. We got to get into it today. We got to get into it today. Still a little moist. Still a little moist from the shower I just took. So yeah, we gotta talk about it, guys. We gotta talk about love. It's not an option for most men today for numerous reasons. Not for all the reasons that you might think. But yeah, love is hard to come by today. Let me do a quick audio check on this stuff right quick. All right, I think the audio is doing just fine. All righty, guys. Hopefully, you guys are having a good Do You Love Jesus? Well, I have to admit, the further along I get along in life, the closer to reality I get, the less religious I become. And I'm not saying Jesus is evil or anything like that. You guys are more than likely are more than welcome to have your opinions. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about love. It's not an option for most men today. You're getting in, for you guys that have been watching my recent live streams and everything, you're starting to see the numbers. You're starting to see just how society is closing in on you, making it harder for you to not only survive, but to get the love in relationships and respect and provide and protect in relationships. It's getting harder and harder for you to do that. And it's frustrating a lot of you. A lot of you guys are becoming and starting to hate women. And it's because of how society is structured. It's structured to champion the woman. It's structured to give her no accountability and no consequences and give all that blame and shame over to you. And so when we talk about love is not an option, well, the definition of love means two different things for women. Women, it means that in today's time, it means that she can get today, let me just say it like this. Today, when a woman says she loves you, that means that it's a usury love. She loves you financially for what you can do for her. She doesn't love your character. She doesn't love who you are as an individual. She's using you out of usury because she's broke and because her life is messed up to a certain extent. This is why you see these reaction videos that I create for you guys where these women, they're breaking up relationships left and right because of why. Even though they have a good man, it's still not enough. Love is not becoming an option for you. And so people have been finding different strategies, whether it's go across the seas or pay directly, or just simply just cuck out. Some guys, a lot of guys, they won't admit it, but they just simply cuck out. They're like, hey, happy wife, happy life. Give her what she wants. That's going to be that. And so that's the unfortunate reality, but it's the real reality. And we got to talk about it today, no matter how you might feel about it. It is the truth. I'm not saying you can't find love or you'll be loveless. It's just the way society is constructed. Yeah, I mean, but we're not talking about Jesus right now, bro. We're talking about women. But I will say this, and we're going to get off this religious subject because, religion is a controversial topic and I could care less about arguing with people about religion. It's like what Justin Bieber says in his song Changes. People change, circumstances change, but God always remains the same. There you go. Do you want to have no, but we can block you up out of here for that goofy shit. Be a serious man, guys. Life is not a joke. You're going to die one day. And you will be remembered for what you have done. So take your life very seriously. Take winning very seriously. Do not be a jokester and go into somebody's random live stream and say some goofy shit in the live stream. Nobody respects that. So today's a woman's definition of love is typically usury and manipulation. It's unfortunate. It wasn't always like this. But unfortunately, women today, they have the mind of a gold digger. They dress like gold diggers, have the mindset of gold diggers. They do whatever they can to scavenge and get resources, whether it means going to OnlyFans or, having bikini pics on Instagram or selling feet pics or whatever. They're finding different nefarious avenues to get these resources. And along the way, she's being promiscuous, which makes her harder to pair bond, which makes her harder to date, which makes it harder for you to take her seriously because she's going to cheat. She's going to leave you. Team Jesus writes hypergamy. Yes, hypergamy is always a factor, and it's over. The internet has overinflated women's egos because it allows her to get access to men all over the place. Whether it like she has 3 different points of contact: Instagram, dating apps, real life. Any man can really truly get to her who wants her. She might not always reply to your messages, but you can shoot a message off if you want the woman. Excuse me. And so, yeah, Team Jesus writes, optimizing their options. They absolutely are. And they're suffering. They have a paradox of choice. They can't decide which man to choose long term. And so they just keep floundering in the middle of nowhere in that gray area of, do I want to be in the streets or do I want to be in a long-term relationship / marriage? They're in that gray area in between and they can't decide. But really what's in between all that and between the flings and the casual for the streets is just a whole bunch of penis. There's a whole bunch of intercourse is really what it is. That's all it is. So while she's out there floundering, trying to figure out what she's going to do, she just keeps getting pounded out in between time, stretching her vaginal state and making her more and more likely to cheat when she gets into a relationship because she can't pair bond. And so it's quite you're in a quagmire is what you're in as a man today. You're in a quagmire. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's not really a right decision or a decision where you can just completely win 100%. That those decisions aren't there anymore. You're gonna have to take a loss somewhere unless you're going to leave the country or just become an incel and not have intercourse at all. Which some men are doing that. They're opting out. They're getting sex robots. They're doing X-rated videos. They're playing video games. They're doing whatever they can to cope with the fact that it's harder for them to get into relationships, and it's quite ridiculous that we've come this far, but this is the reality, unfortunately. And yeah, you're in a quagmire for sure as a man. So one of the reasons why love is not an option for you is because of the economy, the state of our economy in the West. You can barely find. I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow. We're going to go over an article talking about how young men who have degrees still can't find jobs. So you can't find a job, or if you do find a job, you can't. It's not enough to pay for your bills. So what are you doing? You're staying at home with mom. And so whenever you're out dating, no woman wants to take you seriously if you're staying at home with mom, or you don't have enough money to buy a house. That's hurting your dating strategy. And so a lot of men can't find relationships because of the economic structure that has caused that we're in right now. Little Joey crazy. It says, Jay-Z, is that you, right, bro? You crazy. So, and we've already talked about this on a Tuesday live stream a couple weeks ago, where you can't, the reason why men can't provide today is one of the reasons why, because you can't, your wages are stagnated because women flooded the workforce. And plus, you have immigrants in the way too. So, all of these are making it harder for you to get into a relationship and to keep a relationship because, and then you add on AI, all these different things. We already, all these things are, we've already talked about. But your socioeconomic situation is tied to your suitability long term when it comes to women. And so that's one avenue as to why love is not an option for you. You can't afford love. Hell, you're working so much just to get by right now in the city or wherever you stay in the United States. You're working so hard just to maintain the little that you have that you don't really have any energy to date. You're working 10, 12 hours a day, driving 1 hour and 2 hours in total each day back and forth to work. You don't have the time or the energy to get on these apps or to meet women because you're struggling. You're in a desperate state. You're trying to make money. And it seems like all the different avenues of people taking it through taxes or whatever. And so you don't have the time to date. And plus, whenever you do want to date, because it's natural for men to want to date, it's natural for you guys to want relationships, to want family. It's natural. We shouldn't shame guys for not wanting to have that. But unfortunately, our society has made it to where having kids is unaffordable. And then you tack on the mindset and propaganda of what women believe in when it comes to relationships. Like I have a video coming out today later on where it's talking about this woman where she's on her second divorce and she's not even 25 years old. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Pushing her children into poverty. So economics is playing a big role as to why you can't keep a relationship, which is forcing these women to go to sugar daddies, older men, men with money. They're going back to polygamy is what they're doing. They won't admit it, but through their actions and through their choices, that's what they're doing. And that's why they get so frustrated on the internet. It's not because they can't find a man. They can't find a man that they want, that wants them back the same way. And so this whole situation is causing your love life to suffer. Another reason why love is not an option for you is because let's say you are in a decent space economically and you can afford to see a woman or women. And also you can't with the going back to the economics piece, since everything is expensive and your wages aren't keeping up, that dates is you can't you can't go on too many dates because the dates are becoming expensive unless you want to go to the park or get drinks or go to Chipotle or get ice cream. And so you're going to spend the majority of your time trying to make money and try to maintain the money that you have. And you don't want to spend it going on dates with women that could possibly flake and or having talking to you and multiple other guys. So you don't want that money to go to waste, which is contributing to why love is not an option for you because you're working so hard in society just to maintain. The other reason why love is not an option for you in today's society is because unfortunately, you have so many negative experiences with past women, it's hard to trust them when they've been promiscuous. They in college, or uh, their parents were neglectful of them in their teenage years, and they were out doing whatever in junior high and high school. And so then you get cheated on. And you're constantly worried about different men getting access to her. She dresses provocatively when she goes out in public. And so love is not becoming an option for you is because you don't really trust women. You're not going to risk your assets or risk your heart getting broken by these women because they're fickle or whatever the cause might be. So you don't really trust women to do the right thing, to stick by your side. We keep seeing this in these recent videos I keep reacting to. The relationship and the marriage could be going right for 10, 15 years, and then all of a sudden she changes her mind on a whim. What a turn of events. How do you go from I love you to death do us part to I can't stand you and we need a divorce? So, yeah, we're in an interesting state right now when it comes to relationships and trust. You don't trust, and it's contributing as to why love is not an option. Because you've been through situations where a woman has said she loved you and she still did you wrong. You're like, how can you say you love me and do me so wrong? It's like what Post Malone said in that song with The Weeknd, where one right now, that very popular song they have together. He says in that song, "Don't call me baby when you do me so wrong." Women say, "I would never do that to you. I will always love you." Shouldn't he be out carjacking somebody? Okay, the idiots have came out today. The idiots have came out today. They've come out to play today. What's going on, Lloyd? Shout out to Team Jesus. He writes, "Thank you for sharing this knowledge. More men should know this stuff without having the spirits learning it the hard way. I'm 43 and it's been a rough grind finding a virtuous woman." Well, I'm shout out to you, Team Jesus. And I know I'm going to make you a moderator on the channel. I appreciate you. And I'm sure just you being an older gentleman and your dealings with women, you're starting to realize that you don't really want love. What you want is respect. You want a woman to respect you and to be loyal. You don't want to hear a woman say, "I love you," because you heard "I love you" so many times, and women didn't stand by their word. There's no such thing as a woman of their word, it's a man of their word. And so I know, since you are being an older gentleman, that you have extensive experience. And I know that, these women, I'm younger, and I'm experiencing the younger women, but I know you've been seeing the decline for years before me. And it's quite unfortunate that we let society get this far. But yeah, it's a rough grind trying to find a virtuous woman. Just imagine, you're talking with a conservative traditional woman, and yeah, you guys will march down the talking points, and you'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm not a victim. We start a business. Yeah, I believe in capitalism, no abortion." You guys begin to agree on those things, and then once you ask her to stay in the house and cook today, that's when you have a turbulence in the relationship. You're like, "Hold on, you said you were a traditional woman." A traditional woman will follow what her man says. A traditional woman will stay at home and be a homemaker. And then you see the feminists come out of the conservative woman. So that's why you can't trust these labels, these parties. These things mean nothing anymore. That's just how far society has fallen. These things mean nothing anymore. These red, blue, Democrat, donkey, elephant, Republican, it means nothing. Conservative, and all this stuff doesn't mean anything today. It's not going to save you from the fact that you can't find love, that you can't find a relationship. The feminism is really truly embedded in these women, and it's been brainwashed and embedding them to go against you. It's hard to find a good woman. Just imagine you think you found a good one, and then you find out that she's been in college, she's been trained, or she used to do drugs or ecstasy. She's a great woman, then you find out that she has 3 kids. How sad is that? Just when you think you met a good one, she shows you a huge flaw that you can't unsee. And so then you're in a choice. Okay, do I settle down for this and ignore that? Which if you ignore a red flag and then it comes back to bite you, then that's your fault. Or do you just leave this woman and let her be and flounder in the middle of the streets like she's been doing the past few years? But you know what's interesting, Team Jesus, since you're an older gentleman? I know social media, it kills a lot of young men's confidence. And I'm going to show you exactly and tell you exactly what I mean when I say this, because I see this in the high schools, I see this in the colleges. I even noticed it when I was in college. You're with these women that are on campus, they're your age. You think that they would want to deal with you. I mean, you guys are the same ages, you're similar ages within 1 to 2, 3 years in age difference. You think that they would want to date you and take you seriously. And then you find out that their social media page is 10,000 followers. And then you're sitting there wondering to yourself, how the hell, as a skinny 22-year-old or a 20-year-old that's still trying to figure it out in life, how am I supposed to compete and get the attention of this woman that has 10,000 followers on Instagram? She's getting DM'd from athletes to celebrities. How am I supposed to compete with that? And so a lot of young men's confidence gets shattered because since we have the phone and social media and we have all these different forms of access, a woman gets bombarded, which ultimately takes you out of the game. And so what I see from young men under 22, they see this same predicament and they just give up, or they cope by getting single moms or older women. Tell me I'm lying. Since the young men know they can't get the women that their age, they're dating, they got access to the local lawyer, they get DM'd by the local rapper, athletes on campus are hitting them up, and you're just a regular STEM engineer guy, a sophomore, junior, trying to get this woman. In hell, sometimes you approach a woman and talk to a woman and you like, oh, she's average looking. Nobody can be truly seeking her, right? I mean, she's just average. I'm just gonna see what this does right here. I'm gonna aim low and shoot low and hit. And then you find out the reality that she has just been more promiscuous as the beautiful woman. At least the beautiful woman has access to higher tier guys. The average looking woman, she has access to those guys and their other guys, and she's been getting smashed out, whatever, for the past how many years. And so you're starting to find out that you can't it's hard for you to find a relationship. It's hard for you to maintain a relationship. It's hard for you to keep the woman in the right mindset where her friends, her feminist friends don't get into her ear, where the propaganda doesn't get into her ear. That all incentivizes her to leave the relationship. It's really, 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 really. Team Jesus writes Proverbs 30:20. He who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above rubles or rubies. I find a lot of truth in that. It says far beyond rubies. How often do you walk out the door and find a ruby? Yeah, it's really tough. And so, and of course, like the women that are good women, they get snatched off the market pretty quickly. So you got to, whenever you see a good woman and you notice it, you have to really identify it and take her off the market. But like I said, maintaining the relationship, keeping different messages from getting to her, from whether it's from her friends or from the phone, from pop culture, is going to be a difficult task for you to do over a lifetime. You know, women will admit to you that She-Ra 7, wherever her name is, um, caused them to lose a relationship. It's ridiculous. And so love is becoming more and more and more not an option for you. And there's a pretty good percentage of men, they don't want to admit it, but there's a pretty good percentage of men that are hopeless romantics. They want a woman that loves them for them. They want a woman that will always be there. And there's nothing wrong with wanting that and seeking that out. It's just that the women today don't really believe that. They don't believe in building with you. They want you already built up. So your plight in life when it comes to relationship is very handicapped. And so finding a strategy that you can depend on that will work long term is hard to find. Unless you're just going to go overseas. But you better go overseas to the right country because some of the passport bros are actually going over there and paying for it outright and turning these women into 304s. Or maybe they've already been 304s and they're just making them, they just got more access to them because they got more money. Don't ever be deluded if you're a passport bro and you're an American that these women love you for you. They want you because you're more willing to pay, so they think. So love is becoming an illusion. These women don't love you for you. It makes you think. The reason why grandpa or grandma and your great grandma stuck with your great grandpa and your great grandpa or your grandpa is because she actually needed him. Today, these women, since they can make their own money, they have their own resources, even though they're broke most of the time, they're in tons of debt, their net worth, they have a negative net worth. Since they can go out and provide and have a job and pay for their bills and pay for their car, they don't need men in that kind of way anymore. Team Jesus writes, it's almost counterintuitive. You chase them and love them, and it's a turnoff to them. And you talk about it. Women are insane, bro. And the more you understand women, the more I didn't want to believe this saying, but I think this saying is true. And I heard this from CGA. He's a really good guy when it comes to breaking down the nature of women. He said Either you can understand women or you can love them, but you can't do both. And the more you understand women, the less it's like you can take them seriously. You're like, oh, that's really what the motive was. Wasn't me. It was what I could do for you. And then yeah, you chase them. They don't want. Yeah, exactly. Like it turns them off for some reason. That's like whenever you chase, it's like they take it as you being desperate, and desperation turns everybody off. But you stay focused on your purpose in life and being a strong man, then possibly God will give the man his lady. Yeah, whenever you stay on your purpose, it's quite weird. Women are more interested. It's like they want to get your attention just so they could see if they can take you off your purpose because once they have your full attention, they lose interest. Yeah, and it's quite sad because I mean we're all waiting for God to gift us a lady, but it seems like the right lady is harder to find. So love is becoming harder. What's going on, introvert? You guys that are watching this, introvert does gaming, so you guys go over there and uh, you support his channel. He says, "What's up? That ish is fake. What they're on." Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I can't help but notice that society is going in the wrong direction. Sometimes whenever I wake up and I look out into the world, something just seems off. I get that intuitive feeling that you should move, that you should do something, that you should move, get out of the way. I don't know if you guys get that same feeling, but the way we're going right now in society, not just in relationships, that's one thing. That's, that's one thing. Relationships are one thing, but society as a whole is not heading in the right direction. And it's quite crazy because nobody seems to acknowledge it. Either the people are stuck in the day-to-day grind because they're trying to survive, you know. You're trying to work extra hours and to provide for your family, trying to save as much money so you can invest. Still, it seems like it's not enough. Weird times we are in right now. Extremely weird times. So then we have to ask the question that I want to ask you guys, everybody that's in here. Do women really truly love men? Or is she just telling you what you want to hear? She's love bombing you. It's a part of her game. She love bombing you because she know. Have you guys ever just noticed after you finish having intercourse or after you she does something for you? It's never genuine. Not all the time, but very few times this is genuine because right after she'll do that thing, she'll ask for a favor. And it makes you wonder, damn, you only did that so you can get something in return. The mindset of people when it comes to loyalty, sticking with it, persistence, is deteriorating out of the people today. We don't that our culture doesn't champion that. We're not stoic, strong people anymore. It not only shows up in our work, it shows up in relationships. People are quick to leave the relationship whenever it's turmoil. So love. I think relationships, it's safe to say that women are fully monetized. Whenever they view relationships, they view money. They see money. They don't see love. They see an opportunity for usury to get resources out of you. Some women are so diabolical that have, they will get children just so they can get child support. They don't love their kids. That's not the reason why they had them. They're doing it because they want government assistance and child support to take care of their life. Because she knows and she's calculated that men are not getting married until she has to figure out a clever way to get the resources a different way. Love is becoming a figment of your imagination. Gloria. Gloria writes, American women are the same. Don't judge every woman by a few. Well, I wish that was true, Gloria. And I'm not saying that you yourself, Gloria, is a bad woman, but oftentimes, whenever you're looking for a quality person in today's modern time, there's going to be some kind of hang up in the vetting process, or a woman will break the relationship off for no reason, or she'll break your heart. And women deal with this as well. It's just typically that they date out of their league when these things happen. Yeah, Team Jesus writes, I've always heard they don't love you. They love what you can do for them. Whether it's simulation, validation, resources. Sadly, a lot of the times men are illogical and they act on immediate emotions. Exactly. They don't are logical. Men are logical and they act on immediate emotions. Yep. Women, because of their emotions, and since they have a lack of logic and their emotions override their actions and decision making, it's the reason why whenever they're single, they tend to spiral out of control. They make a lot of bad decisions. They date the wrong men because the wrong men they tell them the right things, which the right things, the right words give a woman the right emotions. And when she has the right emotions, she's more likely to stay. You know, these toxic guys, they really do a number on these women. They will tell her everything she wants to hear and still do her wrong to her face. And, you know, women being easily, they not only do they lie to men, but they lie to themselves. And so they stay in these situations, and then, you know, it gets to the point to where they can't take it anymore, then they leave. And so that's one of the reasons why women can't be good leaders long term. And they shouldn't be leaders is because their emotions, they're too loyal to their emotions. And sometimes in order to make the right decision, you have to remove emotions entirely and make the right decision. The right decision doesn't always make you feel good. Whenever you're trying to accomplish success or whatnot, what you have to do and what you want to do is not the same thing. But women, they're loyal to their emotions. They're going to do what they want to do, which is why they're terrible with finances. They want to buy the Chanel purse. They want to buy their own Birkin bag. They want to buy the new Rolls Royce. They want to have the prestige and get all these different degrees, and they don't amount to anything, but she gets this fake title and she has a whole bunch of debt, but she doesn't care about that. This stuff gives her the right emotions that she's wanting and seeking. And so women, it's very hard for them to be leaders because they can't turn off that knob. They think they can. Some of them actually can. It's just very few. They don't love you. They love what you can do for them. Exactly. Yeah, like if you didn't have a job to provide a roof over their head, they would go find it from somewhere else. It's just what the world is. It's always been that way. We have to accept it for what it is. It's just that the thing that we run into today with women, is whenever you're a provider and you're doing all these things, you still get disrespected. That's the goofy shit that you deal with today as a man. You'll bust your ass to get in shape. You'll bust your ass to get a whole bunch of money, to get a relationship. And then you'll go on dates and stuff like that, and you'll maybe even get into a relationship, and then the woman will still disrespect you. She'll still treat you like crap. And you're like, wait, hold on. You said you want a guy like this, I became it, and you're still disrespecting me. Why did I put in so much effort and get such little in return? See, at least the women in the passport, across the seas or whatnot, once you become a provider, they do whatever you want them to do. They cooperate, they listen to you, they take your orders, they throw it back. Today's women, they be disrespecting rich dudes. It's insane, bro. And they wonder why these women be wondering why they're single. They always think the grass is greener. And so another guy came in here earlier, you talk about hypergamy. Women always think there's a better option. They can do better than you. Because if you're not playing her game, she knows there's a simp out there that will play her game. But the thing is, she doesn't want the simp. She just says that to get you in a scarcity mindset so that you can wife her up or get in a relationship and tie the knot. She don't want the simp. But she'll use the simp as a scarcity tactic to get you to move quicker in your commitment. Because once you stop talking to her, she just back to square one. Unless you're just gonna get piped down by her sneaky link all the time, which is what she's doing. She's using the validation from the simps to get you in the scarcity mindset, while she's also having intercourse with the sneaky link, which is satisfying her in between these relationships. Women are very clever relationship salespeople. You have to ask yourself, well, why you got so many options? Why are you still single? It's because those guys, those options that she says she has, they're just paying for it outright. They're just using her sexually. And women are still, they're still late on this eight ball, or they just don't care. That whether I mean, we have to admit, I guess that sexual validation she gets from the rich guys or celebrities or whatever attractive guys she gets it from, that means a lot, because that attention validation means a lot more to them than the actual loyalty from a decent man that will keep them in a relationship and support them financially in a long-term relationship. Getting it from the short-term guy that's high status means that validation means more than getting it from a regular guy that's going to take care of her in a marriage for long periods of time. And so women, they're in a quagmire themselves as well. They can't decide, or they're so unruly because they've been trained to be feminists and to hate men, that even if they do get into a relationship, they're going to turn the guy off. Because whenever you're a smart, intelligent man, you're going to figure it out at some point that this woman is full of it. At some point, you're going to put two and two together and realize you're getting the short end of the stick, and then you're going to leave. And she's back to square one, trying to manipulate and try to sell these guys that she's been virtuous and all this stuff. I hope you guys know that when you guys are in relationships that are going on dates and everything, you're meeting the representative of her. You're not meeting the real person. So whenever the first few interactions, she's selling you. She's trying to sell you on the fact that she's virtuous, that she's a good woman. But if you were so virtuous and a good woman, you probably would have already been married and had children by now. But she's been floundering around in the streets, and she's gotten used to it. She's gotten used to with her freedom. She's gotten used to getting D down. She's gotten used to her sneaky link hitting it right. You, average guy, come approach her. See, really what she wants from the regular guy is just your emotional, for you to become an emotional punching bag, for her to vent to you because she can't get her vent. Nobody cares about her outside of that much. No man wants to hear her complaints. You know, they kick her out whenever they're done with her. And that's what she's been experiencing. And so that's why she's tired of dealing with that. And that's why she wants to settle down. But eventually she'll go back to the streets because that's what she's been doing in the past 5 years. And she's gotten comfortable with it. And that's pretty much all she knows at this point. And so all of these different things are contributing as to why love is not becoming an option for you. Their mindsets, their ways, the way our society is set up, the way our economic structure is set up. It's meant for you to struggle. It's meant for you not to be in a relationship. It's structured for for women to go against you and to not like you and to not stay with you. It's ridiculous. If you make them the prize because you love them, Team Jesus writes, if you make them the prize because you love them, they flip the script on you because they want the illusion perception that they found a man who is their own prize. Exactly. And it's quite ridiculous, guys, that women's mindset is so usury that whenever she indicates that you're a simp or that you love her excessively or that you're a nice guy, it's somehow a light bulb pops off in her head to use you and get and just extract from you. Whenever she detects that you're a nice guy or you love her or do anything for her, that allows her to be more usury and get more things out of you because you always be there. You always do what she says. And that's one of the key reasons why she ends up cheating on you as well. So, yep, you guys, we're about to wind down. So, you guys put your last little bit of questions and comments in the chat room as we wind down. Hopefully, you guys got a whole bunch of value out of this live stream. There's a lot of game laced in here for you, hopefully, for you to find. So, yep, love is slipping out of your hands, out of your grasp as a man. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality. Any of you guys watching the preseason stuff? Let's see. As we wind down, Team Jesus writes, it's like they can't allow both to be the prize in the dynamic. They view a man as desperate when he loves her, right? And like he can't get anyone else, not knowing it's because he's choosing her exactly. I Women confuse us because as men we're logical. Things have to make sense. Women can't understand that if I put you first, if I love you and nice to you and do all these things for you, it's because I value you as a person. You're bringing value. But as soon as you over validate them, they just they get turned off and they want to leave you. And so it's just like you have to constantly be starving women. It's ridiculous. You kind of always kind of have to like starve them and be always be mysterious. You can't ever just let your guard down. You have to always be running some kind of game. So women, yeah, women are hard to stand understand, which is why young dudes get taken advantage of by these women all the time. Because you have no clue. You think you're running game on her, homie, she's running game on you and you don't even realize it. Why do you think guys think that they go out, they get these older women, they're like, oh, yeah, these older women are cooperative. Well, why is she being cooperative? The guy she wants, she's her age doesn't want her that she wants. So she has to sell you on the fact that she's cooperation because these women have gotten intelligent. They know that you want cooperation. That's one of the key things that you want in a woman. So that's what she's going to do. And plus your finances. She's going to help pay for the date on the half of the date, 50-50. You don't even realize she's been manipulating you. She got the whole game plan. She's going to have a relationship within 3 months because you're going to perceive her as to be as a good woman. And then she's going to drain your ball sack and you're going to be wondering, you're going to be thinking, damn, this older woman is it. No, she's running a game on you. She's running a game on you. And you're just too stupid to realize it. Team Jesus writes, this goes back to the beginning of mankind with the story of Adam and Eve, the serpent. They're so easily deceived, exactly, which is why they should be out, they should be in the house. See, the way you get a woman to cheat on her man or to cheat in general is you slow pimp, meaning that, and let me not say slow pimp, that's, we don't do PIMP stuff over here. Let me eliminate that. You guys don't use that term. What you do is, and I'm not saying I do this, I just know how women get in, they know how to get themselves into these situations. So how to get themselves into these situations is, it's always a guy that's charismatic, that can read a woman extremely well, and he knows how to talk to her. Typically, this is a coworker or a close friend that she's known, or an ex possibly, which is unfortunate. You think these women would put away their exes or whatnot, but they don't. He's always in the picture, and he gets free sex from her every once in a while. Just for you guys that don't know. But what happens is, just like with the serpent, Team Jesus, he starts talking to her, asking her questions, getting inside her mind. And then one thing turns to one thing. She starts cheating emotionally. You know, the guy's like, oh, how's your relationship going? And she's like, oh, well, he doesn't do this and that. I'm like, wow, that's not good. He should do better. Why don't you come out to such and such, this, happy hour, so we can talk about it and get your mind off of it and have a good time. That sounds good for a woman that's in a relationship, that's struggling to find happiness in a relationship. And then she goes out and the guy gives her a fun time. And she's like, damn, I want to make that happen again. And then what happens is that happens over an extended period of time. And then the next thing you know, you guys get into a big argument. And that guy knows it because he's been playing the strategy slowly over time, knowing it's going to work eventually, knowing that one of you guys is going to start an argument and you're going to need some away time. So whenever you guys need an away time to get into a bad argument, that's when he seizes the kill, meaning that he gets your woman to cheat, and then they have intercourse, and now she gets emotional pleasure because she's having forbidden intercourse that excites her. And don't let the side dude or the dude that It's a coworker pipe her down correctly, she's going to be in a whole different state of mind. And now with her actual husband, when she goes down to her actual husband, she doesn't respect him as much. She starts showing signs that she's being uh, not as effective, affectionate. You start to feel a certain change in her. You guys aren't having intercourse as much because she likes the intercourse from the guy that's a coworker more than you. And plus, she's emotionally attached to him. But she can't tell you that because that would make her look bad. She got to always be able to have the victim card played. And so all this stuff, and then she ends up talking. She talks this crap to you, saying you got to change your ways, or the relationship's going to end. Women have always this strategy that they play is quite it's quite complex and diabolical. So if you're a naive guy, you're not going to understand this. So yeah, we're about to wind down. You guys send in your last little bit of questions as we wind down. Shout out to my man, Team Jesus, man. That's why I made you a moderator, brother. You are a good brother. I appreciate the super chat. He says, thank you for your time, brother. Have a great day. You as well. I appreciate you coming in here and rocking out with me, uh, stating what you have, stating your opinions in the chat and us going back and forth. You guys are more than welcome to do that on this channel. I will read your chats and we'll have a disagreement, or whether we agree or disagree, I will let your voice be heard and we will talk it out. And you're welcome to have an opinion over here. We don't always have to have what do you call that? Where it's a yes man kind of mentality where you guys just come in here and we guys can go back and forth and have a conversation. But I appreciate you guys. If you guys are watching the replay, please hit that like button. As we exit, please hit that like button for me. Hopefully this live stream, gave you guys a lot of game, gave you guys a lot of insight. You guys look for a live stream tomorrow around 6 p.m. We're going to do a live stream concerning having different clips, going over different articles, make it more engaging. It's not just me up here talking to you guys. It'll be a lot more engaging. And so you guys better look out for that 6 p.m. tomorrow. You guys have a good rest of your Saturday. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.